Good afternoon. Okay pa ba kayo? Usually before I start, I would make my audience stand and do a little exercise. But seeing as to how jam-packed we are, maybe I should skip. So, makinig na lang mabuti. Can I have my PowerPoint, please? I am shy as to my face in the camera. Thank you. All right. So, again, I'm Sian Si, and I'll be your speaker for today for the very intimate topic, how to be CEO at 22. Sino ditong gustong yumaman? Okay. Be honest, hindi yung filthy rich kind of yaman, yung tama lang, yung para hindi ka lang mag-aalala para sa kinabukasan mo. Can you raise your hands, please? Let's be honest. Okay? Maybe 99.9% of us wants to be. Yeah? Who doesn't? Who doesn't want to not worry about tomorrow? Now, before I start, can I see a show of hands? Who here are first-year students? First year. First year, nandoon. Second year. Second year, third. Okay, fourth year. Ang daming fourth year. And above? Wala naman. Okay. Now, the reason that I asked that is not to humiliate anyone, but it's because I graduate as an above. Oh. I studied at De La Salle University. I studied information technology. It's actually a little bit longer, but it's IT rin. And I graduated after 5 years. My course was supposed to be just for 3. So I will tell you the story about it as we go along. So let's start. This is me. And these are some of the things that I specialize in. SEO, conversion rate optimization, email marketing, blog marketing, things that are not generally taught in school. There is no course that teaches online marketing, at least not today. So, how did I learn all of these things? Self-study. The thing is, graduates usually stop studying after they graduate. So my biggest advice for you right now is, after you graduate, especially the fourth-year students here, don't stop learning. Don't stop growing. It's actually after I graduated that I learned the most. Let me tell you where I was during your age. 16, 17, I assume we're 16 to 20 here, correct? By the way, currently, I am a 26-year-old CEO of 2 companies. So, SEO Hacker is my first company. It's a little over 3 years now. It's a company that's grossing more than 1 million pesos every month. Queries is another startup that I founded. I own majority of it. And it's a 9-month startup, not yet profitable, but hopefully we'll get there soon. Where I was during your age, I was studying at De La Salle University. My course is ICTM, or Information and Communications Technology Management. I had one dream for a job, and that is to get into HP. Sino dito familiar sa HP? Taas kamay. Hewlett Packard, di ba? Anong ginagawa nila? What do they do? Printers, laptops, no? They offer IT services as well to Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble. Kung yung SAP systems nila, Procter & Gamble, breaks down, HP comes in, tries to fix things, tries to customize the system, etc., etc. So I was in the IT services department when I graduated. But when I was your age, it is a simple dream to get into HP. Bakit? Sabi nila, HP is good. They have like 25,000 peso salary. Starting, okay ba yun? For a start, 25,000. Pwede na, di ba? When you're a student, you actually don't earn anything. You live on allowance. So I said, 25,000, that's not bad. They have benefits, you know, the usual government benefits. They give you clothing allowance, no? Clothing allowance. Sabi ko, wow, may pambili na ako ng damit. It's not as if I didn't have any clothes during that time, but at least, no, for my long sleeves and other stuff I'm going to use professionally. They have rice allowance and among other things. So I wanted to get into HP. But I had another aspiration. Simple lang. I wanted to buy my first car. Sino ditong gusto makabili ng kotse someday? No? Dami. Alam nyo ba, traffic na sa atin? No. It's my small aspiration during that time. But you know what? I calculated it, and assuming I was earning 25,000 every month in HP, tanggalin mo na yung gas, tanggalin mo na yung SSS tax, tanggalin mo na yung pagkain ko, it would take me at least 5 long years to buy my first least-of-the-line car. Ano ang least of the line? During that time, Toyota Vios yung nasa utak ko. 700,000, somewhere there. 5 years, matagal ba yun? Tagal, di ba? You're in college for 4 years? Right? 4 years. Ayaw mo na mag-extend hanggang 5 because it's too long. And for me, when I calculated it, I said, 5 years is a bit too long. I didn't want to work for 5 years just to buy my first least-of-the-line car. But I had a problem. My problem was, during that time, I was addicted to computer games. No? Sino dito naglalaro ng computer games? Any kind? Be honest. Okay. I was addicted to this specific computer game, and this is because I studied IT, and hindi talaga naglalayo ang IT sa Lasal sa Dota. No? Yan ang pinaka-weakness namin. Pag sinabi niyang Comsci siya, tapos Lasalian pa, Dota. And I was part of this team, I don't know if you're familiar, but the team is Mineski. When I was, you guys are familiar. Bakit? May com shop ba malapit? They do com shops now. But if you didn't know, Mineski was a team lang before. So we were playing against other teams. I don't know if you're familiar with the other teams now, but the teams were Flow, Ninja, yan yung mga kalaban namin dati. Tournament kami. And I was so addicted that I would fail a lot. I'd fail a lot of classes. I'd cut classes. I'd be absent. I'd be late. And most of my failures is because of absences and lates. It's not really because I was failing because it was difficult. It's just that it didn't pique my interest. Hindi ako interesado, kaya hindi ko na siya pinapasukan. And I actually didn't care because I didn't like IT pala. I went in Lasal, I went to study Comsci IT, thinking na this may be relevant to my passion, which was during that time computer games. One of my passions at least. And when I got in, I figured out this has nothing to do with computer games. And it is extremely difficult to actually program something so small as a calculator in an address book. So sabi ko, ayoko na. No, I didn't care that I was failing because I didn't like what I was studying. Albert Einstein said this, everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its entire life thinking it was stupid. My problem wasn't that I was stupid. My problem was that I wasn't meant for IT. And I figured that now, and I figured it out too late. I was deep entrenched in my failures, and I was third year in college studying IT when I figured this thing out. And some of you here, maybe you're in the same boat. I don't know. But this is common for people. Our parents, our peers would tell us, kunin mo tong course na to, okay yan, dito may pera pag graduate mo, ma-hire ka agad. And then you figure out, this is not what I'm meant for. Right? If we were gonna make a bet, a monkey or a fish, who would climb a tree first? Fish? Sino nagsabing fish? Monkey. If you would put 1 million pesos, kanino malalagay? Monkey, right? But if it was a swimming contest, who would you put your money in? The fish, every time, right? Because that's what they're good at. That's what you are good at. And you will have to figure that out someday, somewhere along the way. Now, here's what happened after I graduated. I finally got into HP after showing them my transcript of failures. 28 smiling faces. Per unit is around 4,000 or 5,000 pesos. I failed 28 units. My dad didn't want to support me. He actually stopped supporting me, made me work in his company. My pay was 1% of everything I was able to sell. What was he selling? He was selling construction supply. Pako, pipe, TW wire. Buti nga wala kaming semento kasi yung semento sobrang liit ng tubo doon. No? But my dad had this hardware store. And he was a distributor of hardware supplies. And I would earn 1% of everything I would sell, and that would be my tuition fee. Okay? I still did want to graduate. Kasi ang lalim ko na eh. I was 4th year when he finally said, I'm gonna stop supporting you, and you would have to pay your own tuition. So I went all around Cavite trying to sell to hardware stores. Alam niyo yung mga hardware stores sa tabi? Yung mga medyo madumi, pagpunta mo, kaya mong tawaran. Those kinds of hardware stores, doon ako nagbebenta. Oh, kamusta na, boss? Baka kulang pa kayo sa o pintura nyo. Kamusta na yung well coat nyo? Yung mga kulay nyo dyan. And for 1%, so in order for me to get 10,000 pesos salary, I would need to sell 1 million worth of stock. Mahirap ba yun? Diba? Wala namang isang store na kulang na sila bigla ng 1 million worth ng pintura eh. Kasi marami ding ahenteng katulad ko na dumadaan doon every week. So the competition was very stiff, it was very hard, and I realized how much money I have wasted in my college years. Now, going back, I was so fearful because the first thing they asked of me in the interview, there were 3 of them in the HP office, was my transcript. So I sat down and first thing they said, Mr. Si, can you show us your transcript of records? I was like, okay, yes, sir. Ito po. 28 smiling. And up until today, I have no idea how I got in. No idea. There were so many graduates in the same course that I was taking. Some of them cum laude, some of them honorable mention, and they were much better than I was, but I got in HP, an international company, and the pay and the benefits. And actually, up until today, I would recommend HP. It's a really good company. It's a really good company. And up until today, I don't understand how I got in. Mag-hire ka ba ng 28 units yung bagsak? Diba? Kung hindi ako immortal, meaning I had less than 50 units, Lasal would have kicked me out. Okay? It just so happened na immortal na ako. So they couldn't kick me out, they would just let me finish the course. It was nothing short of a miracle. And up until today, I am mind-boggled, and I am sharing this with you. But there's one thing. I stayed in HP for just 5 short months. Some of you, maybe you have an auntie, an uncle, or a cousin, and they would share with you their stories at their work, and they would tell you, 2 years na ako dito, 3 years na ako dito. Tama? Meron mas matagal pa, 5 years na ako dito. Have you ever heard those kinds of stories? Have you ever heard a story na 5 months lang ako dun eh? Pero maganda yung kumpanya, pero 5 months lang ako eh. Meron bang ganon? Bihira, di ba? If ever meron, bihira. Now, wouldn't you like to know why? Ask me why. Here's the reason why. I didn't like the job. I just wanted the payout and the perks. And it figures kasi IT nga yung inaral ko, sa IT company pa naman ako pumasok. Di ba? Kung hindi ka nga naman, Every day that I was working there and I was doing that job, I was condemning myself. Bakit ka pa nandito? Ba't ka pa nandito? Why are you still here? I was condemning myself because I didn't like what I was doing. I was just looking for the 15th and 30th. Kung kailan yung bayad. That's it. My life was miserable. And I knew I could do something more. Now, here's another story for you. And this is how I became CEO. And this is actually why you're here. I love writing. Put me in a box, give me a pen and paper, and I would write the entire day. That is one of my passions that I knew since I was young. So I started this blog called God and You. It's a Christian blog, and it's still up until today. I still write there once a week. Although lately, medyo mas nagsuslow down na ako because of work. I write about Christianity, philosophy, apologetics, all sorts of things. And I would check my statistics and figure out there were almost nobody reading my blog. There was almost nobody. Sayang. I was writing all these things, and no one was reading it. I would check my stats, and there would be 3 people reading every day. And you know the worst part is, I know who those 3 people are: my brother, my mother, and my sister. My dad wasn't even reading my blog, you know. But so I said, what could make more people read my stuff? So I searched around, and I stumbled upon this term called SEO. It just so happens that SEO, or search engine optimization, is one of the best ways to drive traffic to your site because it is ranking your website higher for your search terms. So for example, someone was searching, what is Christianity all about? And I had an article that would answer that. Wouldn't it be nice for me to rank that article on top of Google? And they would find my article, and it would answer their question. It would be directly relevant. They are the traffic that I want in my website. Sold. So SEO, sabi ko, okay to ah. So I studied more and more about it and learned how to do it in a small, minuscule way. And I tested all of the things I was learning in my Got a New blog. My journey to SEO wasn't smooth sailing though. And how it became a business started when I went to Hong Kong. It was my dad's graduation gift for me. It was February of 2010 when I graduated from LaSalle. And he said, "Oh, graduate ka na." Yes. Tara, punta tayo Hong Kong. Sabi niya. I said, sige. He had the tour, a Wellcoat, naabot niya yung quota niya. Wellcoat gave him a free tour in Hong Kong and Macau, and he took me with him. And I met this girl there. No, she's not my wife. Don't even ask. She was just an acquaintance. And we met there in Hong Kong, and sabi niya, "Oh, what do you do?" And I said, I work in HP, and I do SEO on the side. And she said, "SEO, isn't that search engine optimization?" I said, "Yeah." And I was surprised that she was familiar because SEO wasn't familiar to me when I learned about it. Is it familiar to you? No, diba? It's still not widely known today. And she said, "Oh, my uncle needs that. My uncle in the Philippines, he owns the biggest scuba diving company in the Philippines." And I said, "Yeah, sure. You can refer me to him." But at the back of my head, sabi ko, this girl, I just met her here. Her uncle, I don't even know if that's true, if he owns the biggest scuba diving company in the Philippines. We would go home, we would be tired, we would unpack our bags, she'd probably forget about me. Tama? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I think everyone would think given the same situation. But you know what? We went home, and for some reason she remembered me. And she did refer me to her uncle, who did own the biggest scuba diving company in the Philippines, Scuba World. Sorry, wala yung boses ko kanina. Were you able to hear me? Okay. Ganun pala kalakas boses ko, no? Sorry. So, and she was able to refer me, and her uncle called me up and said, "Sean, come here to my office and give me a proposal." So, I went to my computer without any company, without any real experience, any portfolio. I drafted up this Word file, super crude, super draft lang. Walang ka-design, and nilagay ko doon yung contract, $1,000 a month for my SEO services for 6 months lock-in. And the price, I just searched around the internet na ganun pala yung average price of a company in the US. And nasa Pilipinas tayo eh. And yet, that's what I did. And I said to myself, the worst thing that can happen, I don't get the contract. That's it. Right? I don't have anything really to lose. And when asked for a portfolio, I gave him my God New site. It wasn't relevant to scuba diving, but he accepted it anyway and said, "Okay, when do we start?" I got the contract signed. It was $1,000 a month. During that time, $1 was 50 pesos. So I was getting 50,000 pesos a month for 6 months. In total, that was 300,000 pesos. And that was the first money I used to hire my first team, buy my first laptops, and roll the money and turn it into SEO Hacker today. The rest, as they say, is history. Today, SEO Hacker has grown to more than 20 people. Actually, we're 26 now, with more than 20 brands under our wing. Some of the companies that we have here today as clients are Uratex, Mega Sardines, the Generics Pharmacy, Ford, Land Rover, Jaguar, Lipton, Ben & Jerry's, Tony & Guy, etc., etc. So these are companies who want to have their product or service ranked online. So if you search for foam, bed mattress, sofa bed, si Uratex lalabas. If you search for any generic drug, TGP will come first. If you search for sardines, Mega Sardines would come first. And you can do it live right now if you have internet. So these are our clients, and this is the company. And you know what? That's how it started. Nothing glorious, right? Just a small draft, put up Word file for a proposal, and that's it. Now, let me tell you, and I think this is the most important part of my talk. Yung kanina, that is for you to know me and build my credibility so that you listen. But this is your take home. Here's how SEO Hacker grew. You want to know how? There's only one way, really. Hard work. I don't know if you've heard this before. Meron ba kayong narinig na, sali ka na dito, mabilis kang yayaman? 2 sentences lang ha. Sali ka dito, mabilis kang yayaman. Lahat kayo nag-react. Why? Because it's something that that person knows you will listen to. Because it is something that is well nigh impossible. Even that kind of business entails hard work. Okay? Dudugtungan ko sama ka na dito. Mabilis kang yayaman. Mag-i-invite ka lang ng kaibigan. I'm not trying to put those kinds of businesses down. There are legitimate multi-level marketing companies out there with legitimate products. All I'm saying is the method of telling people that it's easy is not really ethical. It's not easy. Tapping your network and being a salesperson for that company, that takes skills, that takes guts, that takes pretty much everything that I've been through as well. Nothing in life worth doing is easy. Believe me when I say so. Nothing in life worth doing is easy. Everything takes hard work. And here are some of the things I do on a daily basis. I read 5 blogs a day. Different blogs, hindi naman yung 9gag and Tumblr. I read blogs na are relevant to what I do as an internet marketer. Blogs about SEO, blogs about email marketing, content marketing, etc., etc. And I read 2 books a day. No, I don't read the entire book. I read parts of it, but I juggle 2 books because 1 book usually bores me easily. So, I write once a week for 4 blogs: SEO Hacker, Queries, my personal blog, and God and You. Every day, I manage cash flow. As a startup, and you will know this someday if you start your own business, revenue always has to be greater than expense. Budgeting, cash flow management. No? May budget pa ba tayo pang team outing? May budget pa tayo pang bilhin ng laptop, pang hire ng bagong tao? Projections. Every day. Lastly, accounts management. No? Clients' expectation. They shouldn't expect too much. They shouldn't expect too little. Client acquisition. Kung walang bagong client, walang bagong revenue. This is something that I do on a daily basis. Okay. This week, Friday lang ang pahinga ko. Okay. And I'm gonna use it to exercise. Okay. But every day, it's pretty booked. You guys, you raised your hands earlier telling me you wanna be rich. Not the filthy kind of rich, but the secure kind of rich. How are you gonna do it? You're probably gonna do it through business, correct? Because doing it through climbing the corporate ladder will take you years and years. And 30 years, siguro mabilis na yun. And you said, 5 years nga lang, tagal na eh. So you're probably gonna do it through business. And I'm telling you, business is tough. It's only easy because you love what you're doing. And that is an assumption. Not everyone who starts a business loves what they're doing. In my case, I do love what I'm doing, and I'll tell you why a little later on. And here are some principles, and I'm going to share this with you. And this will help you start your own business someday. Actually, this will help you as a person. Here are some principles behind my leadership. Now, if you can take notes, please do so. Now, we'll go through it a little bit quick, but I hope na you'll be able to take notes. First, the linchpin principle. The linchpin principle deals with exclusivity. Sino ditong familiar sa LV bags? Louis Vuitton. Oh. Sino familiar? Taas kamay. Sabi nga nila, lumang bag. How much does a Louis Vuitton bag cost? Oh. Different figures. But we do agree that it's expensive, right? Maybe, 50,000 to 1 million for one bag. Correct? How come people buy those kinds of stuff? Have you ever wondered why? Are you gonna buy a Louis Vuitton bag someday? Who here plans to buy a Louis Vuitton bag someday? Taas kamay. Wala. No one. Why? Because it's expensive. The value is too high. Correct? Why is it expensive? Have you ever wondered why? It is because when Louis Vuitton creates bags, they create it in such a way that it is scarce, rare. That model has a limited number. they don't mass manufacture, unlike other brands. Pag nag-produce sila ng isang model, sobrang dami. So they can sell it cheap. When Louis Vuitton creates bags, they make limited editions. So if you are one to buy a Louis Vuitton bag, you are not buying the bag in its functionality and elegance. You are buying the value that it can dictate and pass on to who you are as a person. That is why people buy Louis Vuitton bags. Nakakatawa nga eh. Imagine, when someone has a Louis Vuitton bag and they get robbed, kunin mo na lahat, sir. Wag lang yung bag. Kunin mo na yung pitaka ko. Kunin mo na lahat ng laman. Dahil yung bag mas mahal. Right? Oftentimes, when you have a Louis Vuitton bag, it's more expensive than everything inside. And so, what's the lesson here? The lesson is scarcity dictates value. And people buy those kinds of bags because they want that value for the value that they have, which is money, cash. There is a value exchange going on. Follow? How does this apply to you starting up a business someday? It applies by not adhering to the law of cutting prices. Maybe at the beginning, you'd cut price to get into the market. But cutting prices, stall A versus stall B, no? Bababa ka ng presyo, bababa din siya. Saan nyo kukunin yung difference? Bababaan nyo yung quality. Tama? So the market is on a downward spiral because customers will think na, ay, bulok tong brand na to someday. And you won't be able to be profitable. Price war na eh. The lesson behind the linchpin principle is be exclusive. Us in SEO Hacker, we give client exclusivity. You notice, one of each lang yung brands na handle ko. Hindi ko sinabing Generics Pharmacy, Mercury Drug, Watsons. Hindi ko sinabing Eurotex, Mandawi Foam, Ju Foam, Iwa Foam. Isa-isa lang. We give client exclusivity. They pay extra for that. But we don't take any more of their competitors. And that keeps the market healthy. So someday, when you start up your own, remember the linchpin principle. Next thing, Purple Cow. Same author, Seth Godin, the #1 marketer in America. He says, make your product so great that it will be able to market itself. What we did at SEO Hacker is we give pro bono services. We're an SEO company, search. But sometimes when the client asks, pwede nyo na rin ba ayusin to? Tanggalin nyo tong malware, tanggalin nyo tong virus, gawa kayo ng design para sa Facebook. We do it. Pro bono. They don't pay for that. We give extra service. And they, in turn, refer more clients, which actually pays more than anything we've ever done for them. Make your product so great that it would market itself. Word of mouth marketing, by the way, is still the #1 converting marketing method. By converting, I mean, ni-refer ka niya, what are the chances of that person buying your product or your service? It is high if you are referred. If you are not referred, nahanap ka lang sa Facebook, nahanap ka lang sa Twitter, nahanap ka lang sa Google, mas mababa. So word of mouth marketing is still the best converting marketing method today. Next, the Outliers Principle. It says it takes 10,000 hours of practice for you to be successful. The Beatles, a popular band in the US during the last generation, they went through all of Europe playing for free just so they could be better. And by the time they stepped into America, they were so good that they were immediately a hit. And this book talks about how you become successful in music, how you become successful in practice, any kind of practice. I do recommend this book for you to read today. And you know how long 10,000 hours is? It's 5 years. And we all agree that 5 years is too long. Do you want to know the secret of how you can reduce it to 3? Do you? Okay. I'll tell you the secret. Work more than 8 hours a day and more than 5 days a week. You will be able to reduce it to 3 years. I work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this is for 2 businesses. I do enhance my skills. I do still learn a lot of things. I do try to grow myself, and that is something that I'd recommend for you to do. Trust me, when I said nothing in life that is easy is worth doing. And you'll find that out soon enough when you graduate. Next, the dip. You have to be the best. Good and great won't cut it. Let me ask you a question. Who is the number one soft drink brand? The number one toothpaste brand? The number two soft drink brand? The number two toothpaste brand? See, iba-iba yung sagot. Number one soft drink brand, lahat kayo sinabi Coke. Number two, Pepsi dito, Sprite dito. Okay? Number one toothpaste brand, lahat kayo sagot, Colgate. Number two, close up, Sensodyne. De joke lang, pamatanda na yun. Close up, Happy. I'm just kidding. What's my point? This is my point. You have to be the best. Yun lang yung maaalala. Number two, gusto mo ba ganun mangyari sa'yo someday? Kung number two ka lang. Si ganito, si ganyan. Di ba? People confuse the brands. They only remember who the best is. And this is another principle that we adopted from Google. First, you don't have to be in a suit to be serious. You can have a very relaxed office, a very casual environment, and yet you can be very serious and output-based. Our office is located at BF Parañaque. It is a house that I rented, 380 square meter, houses all 26 of my team. I am actually very overdressed in my attire today. When you go into our office, I don't know if you plan to apply or something. We do accept interns there, by the way. You will see na it is very casual. We don't have a uniform. People are wearing t-shirt, slacks, casual shorts, slippers, no shoes inside kasi we want to keep the house clean. So it's very relaxed. But we're very strict with output. When I say this done today, it's done today. Right? Our clients demand a lot from us because we are a linchpin company. So this is something that I hope you, as the next generation of entrepreneurs, would apply to your company. Invest in your principles now. I shared with you very important life principles that I have, not as a business owner, but as an individual. Principles are a matter of greatness. If you have principles today, it will make you 90% more efficient in your decision making in the future. What do I mean? For example, ladies, when your boyfriend tells you, let's go out, let's do something crazy, right? Let's go here. And you don't have principles against premarital sex, what would you do? You'd say, no, I don't like, stop it. And then you'd think about it, you'd grope over it, I don't know. But if you do have principles against premarital sex, long before you said yes to your boyfriend, you would say no, right? And you'd be strict about it because you have principles. And that actually makes you so much more efficient because for every question that life brings your way, you have a ready-made answer. With us, because of the linchpin principle, when Mercury Drug or, all these other drugstores approach us and they say, you know what, why don't you take us as a client as well? We'll pay well, we'll pay what the generics pharmacy is paying you. We have principles, so we say no. We don't waste any more time trying to entertain them. Invest in your principles now because they make up 90% of your future decisions. Maybe the most important question I'm going to ask you today. Where do you want to be after you graduate? Write it down in a piece of paper after this seminar if you don't know. Why is this important? I may have failed 28 units, but I knew where I wanted to be after I graduate. It was in HP. I may have stayed for a short while, but I learned a lot. So the thing is, you as an individual have to have a plan. You have to have principles. This is actually the meat of my talk for you today. We're not that far off. I'm 26. Some of you here are 19. Some of you here are 20. Some of you here maybe even 22. I don't know. I've been CEO when I was 22. And these are the things that I did to be where I was during that time. And I'm sharing it all with you today. And I hope you're taking notes. Again, the most important thing I'll ask you today, where do you want to be after you graduate? If you don't know, write it down today on a piece of paper, peg it, make it your life plan. You know what I found out as an entrepreneur is work can be enjoyed. You don't have to retire with dignity. You don't have to work in a job you hate to retire with dignity. Right? Which is, I think all of most of our ancestors, they tell you, I hate my job, but I need to do this to feed myself, to feed you, so that we can have a bright future. That's not true. You have a choice. Work can be enjoyed. By retiring with dignity, what I mean is you have enough for yourself when you retire. You have enough for your parents, if they're still alive during that time, hopefully they are. You have enough for your children if they get into trouble. You have enough to give to the community. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? That's what I mean by retiring with dignity. You don't need to work in a job you hate to retire with dignity someday. Whatever age that may be, I don't know when you plan to retire. But this is true, and I am a living testament in front of you today, 26 years old. I'm making my way so that I would retire with dignity someday. Only in the Philippines will you be able to see the mid-generation supporting both the parents and the children. Do you follow? Only in the Philippines would you see that. We don't have good retirement plans. We don't have good financial planning here. It is something we direly need. I hope you are the generation who will rise up and break that trend. It's a vicious cycle. Because if you're supporting both your parents and your children, someday your children will support you. Because you don't have enough to retire with dignity. Correct? It's a vicious cycle. I hope you will break that. So, to wrap it up, 3 things that I will leave you with today to show you the way how to get to being your own CEO someday. First thing is God. Me going to Hong Kong, not knowing whatever was there, me meeting that girl, getting acquainted with her, telling her I was doing SEO, her referring me to her uncle here who by chance owns the biggest scuba diving fleet in the Philippines, and him signing that contract with me, her remembering even to refer me. How lucky can a guy get? I don't believe in luck, and this is one of my life principles. I believe that everything has a purpose and is planned out by a great maker up there, and his name is God. Everything in life that you have today, that you decide for today, is because of God. Whether you admit it or not, whether you believe in Him or not. It says in Matthew 6, seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you as well. It is a life verse that I follow. I wasn't always this way. When you met me when I was in college, my hair was long, I didn't have money, I was playing a lot of Dota, and you would consider me for tambay sa tabi. That's it. That's who I was. That God was something that I was always passionate about. I would serve in ministry. I would help young students get back on their feet. And when I graduated, I helped in the singles ministry. I'm a Chinese, so I helped out in the Phil Chai ministry. And it was something that I always sought for. And I'm not telling you that if you seek God, you will become successful. No, that is not a formula that I'm telling you to follow today. What I'm telling you is, if you seek God, whether you become successful or not, your life purpose will be fulfilled. There are lots of successful people today. And when you see them and when you talk with them, and I have talked with some, they're not happy. Wouldn't it be nice to be successful, and when I asked you earlier, to be rich and secure and be happy? So first thing is God. Second thing is guts. Me walking into that office, not having anything, no company, no brand name, no portfolio, whatever, showing that $1,000 a month contract to that guy that I don't even know, and he owning the biggest scuba diving fleet in the Philippines. It takes a lot of guts. I could have been kicked out with my tail between my legs, pahiyang pahiya, but still I did it. And if you do want to become rich someday and start your own business, that's something that you have to go through. And I'm telling you today, it will take guts. Third thing, hard work. Nothing in life that is worth doing is easy. So the three things, and I hope you learned a lot today. That's my talk. If you need to contact me, ask me questions, you can reach me. This is my personal email and Twitter handle. And that's it. Hopefully when we meet again someday, you would become CEO of your own company. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Sian Si. For our moderator for this open forum, may we call on Kim and Nicole to be the moderator of the question and answer portion. Sir, may we invite you in this part of the stage. Thank you. Hello.
The floor is now open for your questions, so you can raise it. Okay, sino po may questions? Pwede po niyo kaming i-approach.
Yes, sir. Yes, everyone. If you have questions for Mr. C, kindly raise your hands.
Anyone? Okay. Mr. Chancy, ito na po yung question.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Well, in connection with yourself as being a public speaker, some of us in the HR department would like to engage in the world of public speaking as well. My question is, how did you promote yourself to become a public speaker in spite of already being the CEO of the company, CEO of a company, and what are the tips you can give us as aspiring individuals? Thank you.
Thank you for that very interesting question. Before I start to give my advice, can I ask who here wants to be a public speaker someday? Can you raise your hands higher, please? Para kilala ko na kayo. Okay, there are quite a number, no? Now, the question is, how did I become, or how did I put myself up as a public speaker being the CEO of two companies today? Very interesting question. You could say that I kind of cheated, but it's not really the case. Because there are very few people here who know how to optimize a website so that it will appear in search rankings. Why don't I ask you the same question? How did you find me as a speaker? You probably search for Filipino speaker or Filipino inspirational or motivational speaker online. That's it. If you search for that, I'm ranking in the first page. And actually, just this January, I've received bookings enough to already fill my entire year of quota in public speaking. That's how powerful the search is. Being the CEO and actually the main specialist of my own company in SEO Hacker, I have been able to optimize my website, my public speaking website, and you can check it out. It's Sian Si, SEANSI.org. That is my public speaking website. And apart from that, some things that I was able to do offline is get in touch with various other public speakers. I think the most well-known today is Francis Kong, Jason Law, Anthony Pangilinan. These guys, I'm doing their website. Okay, so what I did was tell them, you know what, I can do your website, teach me how to speak publicly, refer me to your contacts, etc., etc. So there are some offline work, because I don't believe that anything worth doing is easy. I did a lot of hard work to get to where I am today. And if you want to be found as a public speaker, this is being found. This is being found. This is not being good at it. This is being found. So you do your own website, you try to rank it using an SEO company or using your own study. You can actually study SEO yourself, like how I did, and try to rank your own website. Now, how do you become better? That is the more important question, isn't it? How do you become better in public speaking? First, practice. This is something that other public speakers may not tell you, but it's actually the secret behind every good public speaker. This PowerPoint presentation that I've shared with you today is my most demanded PowerPoint presentation. You notice I don't look at the PowerPoint. I'm able to speak because I know what's up next as I click the slides on my clicker. Did you notice that? I look at the audience. I apply the Z formation so that I am able to involve you who are behind, you who are in front. It's an eye movement. I move on the stage a lot. It takes practice. Usually, ang kaharap mo lang salamin at sarili mo. And you would speak and speak and speak, and you would practice and practice and practice, so that when you're on stage, it is so easy for you, and you can do it with your eyes closed. That is the main ingredient. Now, some of the things that I specialize in that I believe other speakers don't have, and even Francis Kong and Anthony Pangilinan don't have, is my PowerPoint. I have it designed, and I pay a lot for my PowerPoint designs. So that's something that you might want to consider, because good PowerPoints actually increases your audience's memory retention of your talk. Next thing on how to be better. Well, actually, the shortcut is attend one of the seminars on how to speak publicly. I could recommend Jason Lo and Chinkitan to you. Their seminars are pretty good. And I have attended, I have sat in some of their public speaking seminars. If you're really interested and you really want to invest in public speaking, and it does pay well when you are known, invest. I think Chinkitan's public speaking seminar costs around 5,000. It's the entire day, it includes meals, but you will learn a lot. The basics are all there. I hope I answered your question. What's your name again? Sorry?
Dane.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Okay, sir, I think we have another question from this side. Okay, wait po. Excuse. Where is Ate? Yes, Ate. Sino po?
Good afternoon po.
Afternoon.
Okay, so Mr. CEO, by the way, I'm Manilyn from PUP Binyan. Rinig ba? Okay. So being a successful entrepreneur for this day, you're an entrepreneur, right, sir?
Yep,
Okay.
you could say
So
that.
my question is, actually, ang tanong ko po ay nasa-search siya sa Google, but I want to hear a good answer from a CEO like you. So my question is, if I have a 5,000 pesos right now, and I want to invest for a good business, ano po yung ma-advise niyo na business na magandang investa ng 5,000 pesos? Because as a student, of course, kahit gusto, pag naging empleyado kami someday, I just want to have that extra money for my 5,000 pesos. Ano pong ma-advise?
That is a very interesting question. And actually, I have stories and stories to tell about that question. So the question is, just to reiterate, if she had 5,000 pesos, what good business could she invest in today? Before I answer the question, let me build a little context. Do you know how much money it would take to build a 30 square meter small coffee shop? Estimate lang, the average. Louder. 100,000, 1,000. No, it's not 1,000. It's actually millions. No? Do you know, I'm saying an average coffee shop, yung okay naman, hindi naman yung talagang parang tinipid sobra. You know the coffee maker pa lang, a good coffee maker, how much it costs? It costs around 500,000. A good one. One that can serve customers coming and going. Okay? It costs around 500,000. You will renovate the place. Siyempre, gusto mo maganda yung ambience. Kalabanin mo si Starbucks eh. Okay? You buy good kinds of lights, chairs, tables. You renovate the counter. You renovate the kitchen. It costs you around 1 million. Overall, I would say, mura na yun. Pag nagawa mo yung buong coffee shop ng 2 million lang. Kasama na yung BIR permit mo, etc., etc. Mura na yun. Okay. Do you have 2 million today to open a coffee shop? Oh. An interesting question. What can you do with 5,000 pesos? Where should you invest it in? If I told you to put it in stocks, it will take you 50 years to make that 5,000 into 100,000. No? At least 50 years, assuming you put it in a blue chip stock that performs well. So, here's the story. I started SEO Hacker when I bought the domain name SEO-hacker.com. That costs 500 pesos per year. The hosting, where I put that domain name in, is a 1 gigabyte hosting space in Dallas, Texas, USA. It costs 800 pesos per year. Overall, my business started with a 1,300 pesos capitalization. That's it. Now, if you ask me, what business should you start? I am going to be biased to my own industry because it's what I know. What I would do, invest it in a website or in a blog and write about what you are passionate about. Because that passion is your fuel. Even if no one pays you to do your passion, you will keep on going. It's actually what will take you through the dip. One of the other principles of the dip, the book that I showed you earlier, is that it is hard to cross to the other side. Kanila Starbucks, kanila Coffee Bean, you realize those guys spent hundreds and thousands of million pesos to get where they are today. And if you're gonna start as a small fish, they can easily crush you. And it's hard to get to where they are. But without that space in between, everyone would go to coffee shops. Tama? And then it would be a price war. And that dip is actually a protector for industries that have grown and companies that have established themselves on the other side. So that dip is not actually something that is evil. It is your protector when you get to the other side. Follow? Gets ba? Okay. Now, again, what I would do, invest that in a website, write about everything I'm passionate about. And sooner than later, people will notice you. People will inquire and maybe get your services. Bakit hindi ko i-invest siya sa product? It's because starting a product business takes a lot of capital. SEO Hacker, we are a services business. Queries, my new startup, my 9-month-old startup, that is a product. And every extra income that I make from SEO Hacker, I invest in Queries. And I have invested a lot of money in that company. And we're 9 months old pa lang. So, if you have that minuscule amount of money to start a business, that's my suggestion. Okay ba yun?
I don't know how to hack. Sorry, sir.
Sorry? You don't know how to hack?
Yeah, wala akong skill like you, sir. HR po ako.
Well, let me tell you where to start. Interested ba kayo? Mag-start ng website? Okay? It's not difficult, actually. I studied IT. Again, I failed 28 times. No? I'm not a good IT student. So, here's what you need to do. Go to godaddy.com. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's where you buy your domain name. Meron silang domain name checker doon. Machi-check nyo kung available pa yung gusto nyong domain name. Let's say Sian Si, SEO Hacker. Check nyo doon. If it's available, GoDaddy will tell you. Pwede pa siya. You can purchase it. The cost, I think, today is around 600 plus pesos. But if it's your first time to buy, it's less than 200 pesos. The thing is, you will need a credit card. So, tanong nyo na lang sa magulang nyo, Mapa, pwede pa umutang 200 pesos sa credit card nyo. No? Apart from that, if you want hosting, HostGator.com, it's one of the biggest hosting companies today. Ganun pa rin ang presyohan nila. It's 800 pesos for that small space. So, in totality, you can actually get it cheaper than how I got it. Today, with 1,000 pesos, you can buy your own domain name and hosting. Remember, GoDaddy.com and HostGator.com. That's it. That's all you need to know. Now that you brought up the word hacker, would you like to know why I chose the brand name? SEO Hacker. Interesado ba kayo? Okay. So SEO, of course, is search engine optimization. Why I chose the word hacker? It's because it has a different meaning. The more notorious and known meaning is someone who likes to infiltrate computer and get data, steal data. Tama? That's what we know. That's the common meaning of the word hacker. Someone who steals private information, gets into a computer unwarranted, etc., etc. There's another definition, and the definition that we adopted is someone who likes to improve code. That's it. That's the term, that's the meaning that we adopted for the word hacker. Now, why I finally said, let's make this our brand, is because it rings a bell. None of our clients that I have proposed with, whether I close the deal or not, forgets us. They always remember SEO Hacker. That's it. Thank you. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank
And,
you very
and
much,
told you where to
Mr.
start
CEO.
Sir, we still have another question here.
Sure.
Good afternoon po. My name is
Afternoon.
Arnulfo Ancheta from PUP. So, given na po yung lahat ng advantages as public speaker, actually, I was invited at PBB niyan to have a motivational talk nung freshman orientation nila sa Binyan campus ng PUP. So, I was able to motivate students. I hope so. So, alam ko yung mga advantages ng pagiging isang public speaker. Pero, can you please enlighten us, ano naman yung mga disadvantages ng pagiging isang public speaker para naman kaming gustong maging public speaker ay maging ready, prepare namin yung mga sarili namin to face those disadvantages and challenges naman.
Okay, thank you for that question. I could only relate that question to my experience so far. Some of the disadvantages. One of the biggest disadvantages for me is when I do talks like this, it takes time. Now, that's not necessarily bad if you don't have a business, if you're doing motivational talks full time. But I do have a business, and I have a team of 26 people who need my attention and who have concerns. And when I'm here talking, I am shut down, offline. That's what we call it in the team. Sean is offline. He can't attend to your concerns whatsoever. Now, that's one of the disadvantages. But if, again, you are planning to do motivational speaking as a full-time career, that will not be a disadvantage. One disadvantage, though, that I think would apply to you is in the beginning, you will not have income. Okay? I started doing public speaking way back 2010 after I graduated. I believe that I did have a passion for it and maybe an initial skill set that actually set me apart. But I pretty much did it for free for LaSalle, for UP, all these campuses to build my portfolio. They weren't paying me anything, but they did give tokens like Paso, mga, Tumblr. That's pretty much it. And so you would need some source of income to supplant your everyday needs. That is another disadvantage. And if you didn't know, Mr. Francis Kong, for the first, if I'm not mistaken, 5 years of his public speaking career, he didn't charge anything. And he was an in-demand speaker. That was when he was starting out. Right now, he's the most expensive motivational speaker in the entire Philippines. Another disadvantage, if you are going to be married, or if you have a partner, a girlfriend, right now, it will sometimes get difficult because there will be talks on other parts of the country or even abroad. And if they don't have a budget for your wife or for your son, I'm a family man, then you will be able to, you won't be able to bring them, and it would be a difficult decision whether to go or not. So that's another disadvantage that I could think of. Other than that, I love it. Motivational speaking, I think, is one of the best things that someone can do in life. You share your passion, you share your beliefs to the crowd, inspire the next generation like yourselves, and so on and so forth. I hope I answered your question. Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Sian Si. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, our third speaker, Mr. Sian Si. Well, you know, that's one of my passion as well, public speaking, and thank you so much for inspiring us. And now, let's award our certificate of appreciation, a plaque of appreciation to Mr. Sian Si, and to give our special gift and token, may we call on Professor Perry David Solosa, and also the chairperson of the Department of Marketing, Dr. Marilu Mondana, together with advisor, Professor Joseph Nardisabal, to please come up on stage to award the plaque of appreciation together with our special token to Mr. C. Let's read Polytechnic University of the Philippines, College of Business Administration, and HRSC Organizing Committee 2015 award this plaque of appreciation to Mr. Sian Si in grateful appreciation and acknowledgement for sharing his expertise as motivational speaker in the 5th Annual HR Students Convention 2015 International with the theme ASEAN HR, the New Year Begins, Leadership Excellence Through an Effective HR Empowerment. Given this 4th day of March 2015 at the Bulwagang Balagtas NALLRC PUP Main Campus Santa Mesa, Manila. Signed by PUP President Dr. Emmanuel C. de Guzman. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sian Si.